In this great feud, Daniel Cormier wasn't always the heel. When it all began, people were pretty much split. And if I recall correctly, the majority even seemed to side with Cormier on this little shit show. But the rivalry, and especially their press conferences, have since devolved into a bit of pantomime, and their popularity was often easily swayed. In an alternate universe, if you changed one or two of the variables, I'm sure Cormier's the hero and Jones is the one getting all this shit. A pivotal point came when Jones was returning after the whole hit and run thing. Jones could have easily been viewed as the reckless scumbag here. But months before his expected return, he did an incredible interview with Ariel Helwani. These interviews Ariel does, where he walks around with fighters, are by far his best work. Amazing interview. And it presented Jones in a real positive light. A man full of regrets, sincerely sorry, battling demons and trying to get his life back on track. And so rather than returning as a reviled pariah, this interview was one of the factors that helped transform his image. It framed him as a more human and sympathetic figure. A young man who'd made a couple of mistakes, trying his best to learn some important life lessons. On the flip side, Daniel Cormier's popularity plummeted, a phenomenon that has left many commentators at a complete loss.
I don't understand it.
Now, trying to explain why an entire crowd dislikes someone is an impossible task. I don't even think individuals are good at explaining why they themselves dislike people. What can happen is, if I dislike someone, I'll often look for reasons to justify that dislike. I'll say, I don't like that guy because of X, Y, and Z. When the reality is I disliked them first and then retrospectively used X, Y, and Z to rationalize my bullshit, which can be quite convincing. The reason I'm bringing that up is because, I don't dislike Cormier, but there are times where he does rub me the wrong way, and it's usually in the run-up to a fight, when the cocky side of his personality comes out. For me, cockiness just does not work for Daniel Cormier. The problem with that theory, though, is the obvious hypocrisy. John Jones is at least just as cocky, and Conor McGregor infinitely more so. So why does it work for some fighters and fall completely flat for others? I think it boils down to the different archetypes the fighters represent. McGregor, Bisping, and John Jones all fall into the bad boy category, and cockiness works quite well in that context. We tend to glorify and, to an extent, live vicariously through rebels. John Jones, a 20-something-year-old world champion, a millionaire partying like a motherfucker, just weeks before he puts on a Fight of the Year type performance. Sounds great. Under those circumstances, the only way you could have stopped me from partying would have been by placing a fucking gun to my head. When McGregor showed up to that press conference in Manchester, he tweeted, "Fuck the UFC, fuck Floyd, fuck boxing." Not exactly his best line, but who among us at some point in our lives has not wanted to tell a boss or a teacher or some other authoritarian to go fuck themselves? Last time I left the job, I used to fantasize about baking a letter of resignation into a pie and slapping it in my boss's face. At some point, everyone's had that rebellious voice in their head. But most of the time, it's tied up, gagged, and thrown into the trunk of your mind by a bunch of responsibilities, professionalism, obligations, political correctness, or simply the need to remain in the good graces of that authoritarian asshole currently ruining your fucking day. That's life. The real world requires tact and restraint. But bad boys, they represent a rare liberation from the pressure to conform and behave appropriately. And unsurprisingly, people like that. We see the cocky bad boy archetype work over and over in movies and literature. Han Solo, Lord Henry, Jordan Belfort, Tony Stark, Martin Riggs, Gordon Gekko, Tony Montana, this bad motherfucker here. The list goes on forever. When I was watching Game of Thrones, I used to be like, forget about all those other characters. Just put that hilarious, cocky little prick back on the fucking screen, will ya? In terms of on-screen charisma, Peter Dinklage is like, a Robert Downey Jr. that got shrunk in a wash. Just amazing in that role. Anyway, all super popular characters, and often despite terrible flaws and gross immorality. Now try making a similar list of popular cocky good boys. That archetype doesn't even exist, and it's obvious why. Remember when you were in school and there was that studious good boy, hard-working, focused, determined, always had his homework done, respects the teachers, single-minded and goal-orientated? You know, those are all admirable characteristics. But the good boy, he almost makes you feel bad just by virtue of his existence. His very nature highlights all the shit you should be doing, all the homework you forgot about, makes you feel lazy. So if you add cockiness to the good boy, it's like he's rubbing your face in it. It just seems conformist and self-righteous. And that characteristic, self-righteousness, is generally extremely unpalatable. You know, if you're doing everything right, try being humble, because then you're a fucking hero. Now, Cormier typically is humble, but not only has this rivalry drawn the trash talker out of him, but the strange circumstances of it have actually exacerbated those unpalatable characteristics of being self-righteous and judgmental. And to be fair, it's completely understandable. The rivalry is just so intense that Cormier still has a need to feel superior to Jones. But because he lost the first fight and couldn't get a rematch, he often relies on moral superiority. That's a theme that runs through much of Cormier's trash talk. Moral superiority. I do everything right, therefore I am a better person. Full fucking stop.
As I address these people in here, I say to you, guys, I've been sober. I haven't done all these things. I haven't wrecked my vehicle. I haven't been suspended. I didn't get stripped from my championship. I didn't do all those things. Guys, these are normal things that adult human beings do. You cheer this guy for saying he's not going to do these things anymore. I have done this my entire life, but you boo me. Thank you. Thank you.
Could someone bring Daniel some Kleenex, please?
I mean, you don't even have to read between the fucking lines there. The most direct translation is, I am a better person than John Jones. And he also made the mistake of trying to rationally explain to a crowd why they were being illogical. I mean, it's just a fucking hilarious quote from Cormier. You know, he also kind of tries to win over the crowd in the same way a small child tries to win over a parent, by telling on one of his siblings for stealing cookies out of the cookie jar.
Guys, for the record, an hour ago, John called me the lamest, biggest pussy he had ever met in his entire life. So, I mean, an hour ago, he said, you are the lamest, biggest pussy I have ever met in my entire life. So, believe it. Believe what you want. But he's lying to you guys again.
What'd he say?
You just...
You said...
Am I the biggest lying pussy you've ever met?
Are you the biggest pussy?
Am I the biggest pussy you have ever met and you want me to suck your dick like you told me?
Oh, yeah.
Is that what you told me? Is this not real now? Are we pretending? Are we pretending again?
It's hard to hear you.
Are we pretending again? Are we pretending again?
Oh, no.
Are we pretending? Are we doing this fairy tale shit again?
No, you are the biggest pussy I've ever seen, for sure.
Okay. Are we pretending again? Hey, because I know what you said to me over here.
What'd you say?
He said, I know what you said to me over here.
Well, that you're pussy? That you're forever going to be my pussy?
He said, you're forever going to be my pussy.
And also that I'm forever going to be your pussy.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see.
Oh, God. I mean, we don't even like that shit from children. Oh, God, I love this rivalry. Anyway, that was a catastrophic press conference for Cormier, but he was up against it. You know, the crowd were booing him from the get-go. The most recent press conference they had was fucking brilliant. Both guys were clearly enjoying themselves, and I think it helped that the fans were kind of split. I mean, Jones fans, they must be feeling like the beaten housewives of MMA. He just keeps doing them wrong, and they just keep taking him back. Cormier had some funny moments in this one.
Is this guy really gonna go to the fight? Is this guy gonna mess this up again by doing steroids or snorting cocaine or sandblasting prostitutes? What's this guy gonna do? What's this guy gonna do to mess this up this time?
Prostitutes.
I had to Google sandblasting. When a man and a woman have sex on the beach, the man ejaculates on said female's face and then takes her head and slams it into the ground, resulting in a sandy, sticky mess. It sounds aggressive, but, the way things are going lately, let's just say I wouldn't be surprised if it emerges that Jones has been spending an inordinate amount of his spare time down at the fucking beach. A suspicious pattern of black-eyed prostitutes in the area.
That's one hell of a weekend for a millionaire druggie.
Hey.
Yeah, Cormier had his moments in this one. But the highlight for me was when Jones inadvertently admitted to doing coke more than once. Cormier almost had a heart attack trying to draw the crowd's attention to it. It was another one of those cookie jar moments. But Jones came back with one of the greatest bad boy lines I have ever heard in a press conference.
I beat you after a weekend of cocaine.
And prostitutes. I thought that first time was the first time you did cocaine. So wait, you had been doing cocaine.
I had two.
Okay, I get your super.
I had two great
Congratulations.
Back-to-back weekends. Cocaine one, your ass the next.
Oh yeah, back-to-back weekends. Cocaine the first, your ass the next. I get so much joy out of this cool, Hot Mike's American Psycho version of John Jones. I only wish he embraced the dark side earlier. What a brilliant press conference. Both guys on fire. But again, moral superiority was the stick Cormier repeatedly tried to beat Jones over the head with. Basically, John Jones is a junkie. I am a better person. That was his angle. In this rivalry, Cormier kind of portrays himself as an infallible, morally superior paragon of virtue, while over and over, Jones is the man who acknowledges his own flawed humanity. I mean, you tell me who's more relatable here. I've never screwed up on Jones' scale, but I have fucked things up. Found myself back on square one on more than one occasion. In fact, everyone I know has their fair share of stories to tell, so personally, that holier-than-thou attitude, it just doesn't resonate with me. You live and you learn. That's life. We make mistakes here. And so, I think that's why he's so polarizing. He has so many admirable characteristics. A hard-working, natural-born leader. A clean-living family man who, by virtue of sheer grit and determination, has accomplished incredible things. A two-time Olympian, a bronze medalist at the World Championships, and now a top pound-for-pound mixed martial artist. Cormier's taken on larger opponents, he won a stacked tournament as a late replacement, and he's fought in multiple weight classes. A lot of people are gonna look at everything he's done and say, hey, that guy is a fucking hero. While others are gonna listen to him and say, you know what? I like my heroes with a side of humanity, so no thanks. I'll take the millionaire junkie fuck up on the long, winding-ass road to redemption, please. But to be fair here, as easy as it is to criticize Cormier's trash talk, it's just as easy to see where he's coming from. Yeah, he lost the first fight, but if it was up to him, they would have already had a rematch. It's the repeated transgressions of John Jones that have intervened and kind of left Cormier's entire title reign with an asterisk next to it. So when Jones brings up the first fight, it's easy to see why Cormier fires back from that moral high ground. In my opinion, Cormier's hand kind of played itself in this one. But it just has not worked out. Because in the court of public opinion, self-righteousness is a cross people are more than happy to nail your fucking ass to. That might not be fair, but I do get it.